Hey guys, welcome to my very first ever Saturday video on my channel. And for the very first Saturday video, instead of doing a tournament recap or anything like that, because I haven't participated in a Pokemon TCG online tournament yet, that will be the next Saturday's video. This video, I just wanted to give a couple tips and tricks to other new and returning players, like just some websites that I was using, along with just an update on my current rank, which I am currently in the Gardevoir Great League after a little bit, like a day or two more than a week's worth of playing. As you can see down here, I am playing a deck, the Cynthia's Garchomp. Little teaser for Monday's video coming up after this one. A lot of fun. By far, I say the Garchomp deck, I think, is probably one of my favorite decks overall. I always loved the Garchomp growing up, and the way that it plays is very much my style of play. But I will say I did try multiple decks going up here, a total of 5. But Garchomp was by far the best one for me. You of course saw the other two, which was the Ceruledge EX, which was also really strong, and the Ethan's Typhlosion, which was another great deck as well. But that is the update part. So now we'll go to the other websites that I use. What websites did I use to be able to get these decks and look at the meta? So here we go. So I use 2 websites. I use Trainer Hill, which is to do meta analysis, just goes over a breakdown of what people are playing, what decks have top 8'd, giving you a little bit more in-depth than the other website, and even has this nice little matchup spreadsheet for, I think it's the top 10 decks. So you can actually see what people are doing with each deck as far as the win rate into each one at that time. So it's just a very nice website to use if you're someone that's real big on just statistics for the different decks, to figure out which deck you actually want to try to practice and play with to see if it matches your play style. Other than that, I do use Limitless TCG just like everyone else. It gives you the metagame, telling you how many points each deck has gotten, what the share percentage is, so like how often it's played in these events. You can also look at the online decks and be able to see exactly like their score, their win rate overall, and how often they're being played and how many have been played for it. So it's another really good website for that, though I will say the best thing for it is by far the tournament section. In the tournament section, you can see the most relevant. You can see the upcoming, the completed, and the ongoing. The upcoming, though, is the tournaments online that you can actually participate in, and most of these are free. So like you could look at ASR Cristianos, which is 123 out of 256 at the time of recording for this. So this is really good if you want to get practice at home and you want to practice more than just, your regular in-person locals. So this video, very short. I just want to let you guys know, hey, this is the things that I looked at as a returning player that may be good for the rest of you that are returning or the rest of you that are new. And without further ado, please look forward to my other videos. Please like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Alright, so I'm also going to leave you guys with a little extra video from Monday, just giving you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of the Garchomp deck. Solely because this is a very close game, and I really wanted to showcase it off. I remember after getting done with this game, just celebrating a little bit. It was that close in my mind. So here we are against one of the more dangerous decks of the format, which is the Gardevoir deck. So we only open up with a singular Gibble, but we do have the combo that we need for this matchup in our hand. So one of the biggest combos that you can use with this deck is Arven plus a energy, and that gets you double Gabite, so you can easily go into a turn 2 knockout with your Garchomp on most things. So here they are getting out the Badoo. So now it's just, do they have the energy to be able to attach to the Drifloon and be able to retreat it so they can Badoo lock us for a turn? If so, then we can't go for the Gibble play. Here they're attaching a TM Evo and then they're using Professor's Research. So they do get down a Ralts and a Monkey Dory from their hand. So now if they have an energy, there's a high chance that they are just going to use the TM Evo, try to go straight into a Kirlia so they get a Gardevoir next turn. Sadly, we did go first in this matchup as well. That's the reason why they were able to use that Professor's Research. So here, they do use the TM Evo instead of swapping back into the Badoo. But we are getting extremely lucky because they prized their Kirlia. So here we top deck a Boss's Order, but we're going straight into the play that I mentioned. We're going Buddy Buddy Poffin, TM Evo. We're looking to make sure that we have enough in our deck. Yet we still have 3 Gibbles, 4 Gabites. We have 1 more Garchomp EX left in our deck. Just looking, making sure that we got most of our energy, which we do. So we have everything that we need to give us the highest chance of winning this matchup. We also still have a Roserade in our deck too, which is going to be huge because they do have a couple cards that are resistant to fighting type, so we are going to need that just to be able to still do decent damage. So here we do get the 2 fighting energy. We're going to attach to the Gibble, then we're going to TM Evo, and that's going to allow us to be able to get 2 Gabite out. So we were able to at least use our TM Evo to the fullest. And by them not being able to do so on their end is a huge boon. Otherwise, I think we probably would have lost this game within the next turn or 2. And here they do, I guess they had it in their hand, their Kirlia, and they prized a second Kirlia in their prizes. So here, they can still just go into the Badoo by retreating their Drifloon. But at that point, it's already too late as far as like what they would need to stop us from, because now we don't really need trainers that much anymore. Well, we don't need items that much anymore. So here we do have a Artisan, but I really don't want to play it. In this matchup, you don't want to give them access to more of their main ways of winning. And the Gabites search out all of our characters except for our Monkey Dory. That's the only one that we can't search out with the Gabites champion call ability. So here we are grabbing into our little extra attacker or attack boost, and then we are going to grab the Garchomp as well. Or, well, we already have a Garchomp, so I'm just grabbing another Gibble. That way then we constantly have a Gabite going at all times, and we're going to be able to start swinging this turn with our Garchomp. So we are going to boss up their Kirlia as well, get that out of the way. But that's when I realized, yep, this is one of the ones that isn't weak or is resistant to our fighting type. So if we would have gotten a Roserade on this turn instead, it would have been huge. But sadly, we just didn't have the right cards for that. This does put it in the way, so that way then if they can't go into a Gardevoir EX this turn, then we can just knock out their Kirlia. The Drifloon requires damage counters on itself, and that's what I was reading it for, just making sure. Because it's unlike the Spiritomb that we run with Cynthia Spiritomb, which relies on damage counters on your benched Pokemon rather than on itself. So here they do have a Monkey Dory, so they can move 30 damage counters. So right now they're just trying to see what they're going to go back into, so they throw up the Drifloon. They do Adrenaline 30 damage off of their Kirlia. Most likely in their position at this point, I would probably just throw it on the leader, making it 300. So they do have the Gardevoir EX here. So this is kind of deadly. Well, we're not too concerned about it, but at the same time, now both of us have our engines running, so now it's just a fight of who's going to get there done first. But here they hit for 120, so we're already at 150 damage taken. We do top deck another energy. Sadly, it's not a luminous, but we do have the Crispin. So what we can do is we can Crispin, get a dark and the last fighting, be able to put the fighting into our hand, and then we're going to be able to just freely attach this dark to our Monkey Dory. We are going to attach for turn to the healthy Gabite, and now we can Adrenabrain 30 damage to be able to knock out this Drifloon for free, getting us one prize card, which means this turn we should be able to get 2 prizes guaranteed. So here we're just going to start doing our little Gabite loop. We're going to get our 4th Gabite, get that on the field. Then we're going to use the other Gabite, get the Roserade. Get that down. And then we're going to just go into a Garchomp. That way then we have a second Garchomp up and running in case we need to retreat this one. And then swing in, take a second prize, KOing this Badoo. We do get to draw back up to 6 with our attacks effect, and that got us a Super Rod, which is really good in this matchup too. So here, they throw up the Clefairy. That is by far like their most dangerous Pokemon that they could have for this matchup is the Clefairy, due to the fact that its attack is 20 plus 20 for each benched Pokemon on both sides. So that means that it can hit for 220 by itself, and then if they have the tool, the little pearl, then when we do knock it out, we're only getting 1 prize. Meanwhile, they're going to be able to 2-shot our stuff and get 2. So here, they do get a second Monkey Dory down. They get a Dark Energy on it. So now they're going to be able to heal a total of 60 HP, effectively nullifying 3 attaches. So they do also have a Buddy Buddy Poffin. So now they're going to be able to most likely get, another Ralts. They didn't get anything else with it, So most likely they're trying to just leave this extra spot for one of their other Pokemon, like a Screamtail. So here, they're finally using Gardevoir effect. They're going to be attaching to their Clefairy so that way then it can attack this turn. It'll still be doing 200 damage, putting us right there at 320. So we're not going to be dead to this attack, so we'll at least be able to crack back. Or actually, no, they can still Adrenabrain. So they're going to Adrenabrain, guarantee that they get a KO on our Garchomp. So, yep, they put 30 damage on there, making theirs only 180 for their Clefairy right now. And then they're throwing another 30. Let's see, where are they gonna throw it? So if I were them in this situation, I would be throwing it, yeah, on the other Garchomp. The big thing in this matchup, if you're the Gardevoir player, is you want to constantly be throwing the extra damage on the Garchomps, solely because you're going to have to two-shot them, and it's going to be much harder to two-shot them if you don't already have a bunch of damage on them early. Especially if the Garchomp player gets to find his tools, his Cynthia's power weight, making his Garchomps into 400, it's that much harder for you to be able to two-shot. You're kind of relying on things like your Cynthia's, or you're relying on your Clefairies. So here they do knock out our Garchomp. Luckily, we have a second one set up. We do have another fighting energy in our hand that we could use here to be able to get the knockout. We do find a Arven as well. So here they did play that Artisan, so I'm going to be able to use that, be able to get out this Spiritomb. And then here, I'm just thinking, how exactly do I want to go about this? So I can remove this 30 damage from this Garchomp. I know that that's what I'm going to do this turn, at least. I'm not going to be able to use the first attack and KO this Clefairy, but I do kind of just want to throw the extra damage onto it because he has double Monkey Dory. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at my deck and I'm going to get another Garchomp. I'm going to get that up and running. So we only have one Gabite still on the field, but here I'm going to get the Garchomp plus 2 energy back into the deck. That way then later on I can still get another Garchomp. I could have done that first and just had double Garchomp here, but if I find like one of my other cards to be able to get back the Spiritomb, then I can still use that and use the Gabite to be able to get it. So we did get the knockout, and we were able to take some extra damage off the board as well, so that way then they can't just use their Monkey Dories freely. They do throw up that Ralts, kind of just as a sacrifice for right now. They are attaching one to it. And then they Night Stretcher. So the question is, what are they going to Night Stretcher here? They do bring back the Clefairy. So, very smart choice on their part for it. But that's also the reason why we got the Spiritomb. Just in case they did have a way of getting the Clefairy back, then Spiritomb is kind of one of our big ways of getting rid of it. So Here, they do have the secret box. So most likely we will be getting Iono'd this turn. That's kind of what it feels like since they are using the secret box right here. They're just debating about what cards they want to discard from their hand. So they got rid of a Rare Candy, a Energy, and I don't remember what that other one was. It went by pretty fast. A Artisan. There you go. So I'm just looking to see what all they actually have in their grave right now. Just counting the energy and all that. So now they're selecting the cards. So we only need 2 prize cards left. And they still have to KO 2 of our Garchomps. Otherwise, they have to start Screamtailing unless Screamtail is in their prizes. So here they are going to Nest Ball. So they do get the Fez. So they are going to be able to flip the script. Big thing here is that now that they played out the Fez, they have another 2 prizer on, and if I find a boss, I'm able to guarantee a knockout since it is weak to fighting. So that's all I gotta do is I have to find a boss, and then I just need to find a energy. Luckily, with our hand right now, we do have access to a energy. We just don't have access to the boss. So, here, they did also make their Clefairy into a 240 HP by attaching that tool. And now they're going to be able to move a total of 40 damage onto something. Oh, they're actually still attaching to their Gardevoir so that they can move a total of 60 damage. Okay, so if I was in their shoes, I would most likely move the damage to the Spiritomb. That way then I can guarantee that my opponent has to retreat into the Spiritomb and attack with the Spiritomb to get value. So here's the Iono. Hoping that the 2 cards that I get are good, and they are not. So now you got the Adrenobrains going off. So I'm still just in this position of, if I can find an energy, I'm pretty sure that I can win. Especially because they decided to just throw damage onto the Garchomp here. I mean, they do need 4 prizes, so I understand why they're doing it this way. Because now they're able to hit for 220 plus the 60 there, that's 280, leaving my Garchomp almost dead. So now I'm just thinking, if I find an energy, then Spiritomb can put in a lot of work. It's almost enough to get the KO. Or I think it may actually be just enough to get the KO if I were to have gotten the energy there. But sadly, I don't. So here, I'm just going to use the Gabite. I'm looking to see... I know that I'm going to grab the Garchomp. This way I thin out my deck 1 extra card. Throw that down. I'm going to retreat into the fully healthy Garchomp, and then Monkey Dory 30 damage off of this Garchomp back here. That way then they can't just double Monkey Dory and get a knockout on the Garchomp. So this saves that Garchomp by just a little bit. Yeah, it saves it by like 20 HP. So again, we're just in this position. If we find an energy, we can win the game. That's all we have to do. We find one energy, we win the game. Especially because we know that they're going to be swinging into a Garchomp this turn. So getting extra damage counters means that our Spiritomb will win. They do search out the Scream Tail right there, but their bench is full. And until we get an energy, we're not clearing out anything in their bench. And our whole goal is to clear out one of their 2 prizes in a single turn for a game. We're not going to try to take one of their 1 prizers. So here they're now doing their Adrenabrain. They're able to move a total of 40 damage. It's either 40 or 50 that's on their board right now. I know that there's 40 on the Clefairy. So now they're just throwing it all onto this Garchomp. One of the crazy upsides for Garchomp, by the way, is the fact that it has 0 retreat as a stage 2. That's insane, especially with how much HP it has. It's so good. That's one of the reasons why I really love this deck. So there we find the boss. So now it's basically I'm reading their Gardevoir because I'm thinking like, all right, I can throw up the Fez with the boss. If I throw up the Fez with the boss right now, are they going to be able to attach energy from Grave to do it? And no, it only attaches to Psychic type Pokemon. So we're going to use the boss now. And then we're going to retreat into our healthiest Garchomp. And then we're just going to Monkey Dory 30 damage off of our Garchomp, so that way then he goes down to 240, so he can't just be double Monkey Dory either. So now they need to find an energy in order to be able to attach to the Fez and then be able to get the Clefairy back up so they can start swinging again. And then we need an energy in order to be able to go for a game. So here they do have the Arven. So I was starting to get real worried right here with them playing the Arven. I'm like, if they have another Earthen Vessel, then that gives them access to energy. Or if they have any card that can actually get them access to energy, then that's huge. But they don't. So they have a Super Rod and a TM Evo, so they're thinning their deck a little bit, and then they're using the Super Rod to get a couple of their main killers back into their deck. So here they're still just taking their time. I will say, the stigma of Gardevoir players I've noticed is pretty true. I will say that because this is as you can see on the clock, they're down to 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. We're still at 12 minutes. So this is one of the longest games I've played by far, but it's also one of the closest too, coming down to a top deck. So here, they're just doing their Adrenabrain. They are getting this third Garchomp prepped up. They have no more damage counters on their side of the field, though. We find an Iono, so I decide, okay, let's Iono here. Hope for an energy, and there we have it. We found the energy, folks. That is going to be game now, because we can just attach to this Garchomp, swing for 260 because it's ×2 weakness. As always, please like, subscribe, and tell me down in the comments what Pokemon got you into the Pokemon card game. Have a good day.